enough with the woke stuff and get on with the plan. And it's right to be passionate with this because we have to do better things to protect Canadians from inflation.
You've heard the term go woke, go broke. Well, it seems to be the only thing that the Liberal government ever wants to do is be woke. To pick your issue, be it the environment, the economy, it's everywhere. I'm Adrienne Batra. With me are Brian Lilley and Jamil Jivani. Okay, Jamil, so Conservative MP Michelle Rempel, kind of expressed herself in the House in a very forthcoming manner when it came to accusing the Trudeau government, a fair accusation, about constantly going woke. Have a look.
And say what that one person said off the record to a reporter. Enough with the woke shit. Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I take that back. I apologize for my unparliamentary language immediately. I'm very sorry.
So, Jamil, Rempel, and as I said, expressed herself quite candidly, ultimately apologized for it, but expressed, I think, the views that many Canadians feel. What's your take?
Well, I think Michelle Rempel Garner represents a segment of the Conservative Party that has embraced wokeness and is now sort of trying to do some recovery. I think that if you look at what the likes of Michelle Rempel Garner and Patrick Brown, whose campaign she was very influential on, were saying about the Conservative base, calling them racist, calling them extremists, pointing a finger, making a lot of the same accusations that woke liberals make against the right, against conservatives in this country, now all of a sudden realizing that that was a loser strategy, that no one believes it, that no one on the right wants to hear that kind of messaging because it doesn't resonate with anyone's actual experience in the Conservative Party. And now I think this is damage control. I think she has realized that there is no future for conservatives embracing these liberal criticisms of their own side. So do I think she's right about her comments about the Trudeau government? Yeah, they do embrace wokeness. And wokeness in this very superficial, don't do anything good to help anybody, but want to pat yourself on the back and virtue signal type of way. So the Trudeau government deserves all the criticisms over the stuff that they can get. I'm just not interested in hearing from conservatives who have embraced that very same ideology now pretending they're not on Trudeau's side on this, because I think they are.
Oh, come on, Jamil. I think you go way too far there in making Michelle Rempel Garner sound like she's been a raving lefty lunatic liberal for a long time.
I do think that.
But did she have some criticisms of certain things? Yeah, but to say that she was completely on the other side, that's the type of thing that conservatives have to watch for. This giving people a purity test to decide who's in and who's out. And that was a scary part that I heard from some people around Pierre Poilievre during his leadership campaign. Thankfully, they haven't gone the route of trying to purge people. But I heard from plenty of folks around him and supporters saying, we've got to purge the party, get rid of all these people. Well, in politics, you don't win by subtraction, you win by addition. So yeah, do you have differences with her? Sure. Claiming that she's a woke liberal, I think, is going too far.
I think
I think what people need to understand, though, is what actually precipitated her to say that. Like, what brought her to the point to be so blunt in the House about it? Like, where did that even come from?
It came from a vote on measures that the government says are there to deal with inflation, which are all temporary measures that will help out for 6 months. And as I've said before, if you're at the bottom of the economic ladder, you don't care that in 6 months this may, increase inflation, make it even worse than it was going to be. You're just thinking, all right, I get an extra GST rebate check. I can use the money. I get a $500 one-time payment to help with rent. I can use the money. But then in 6 months, the government takes the money away. Inflation's still a problem. And those Canadians on the low end of the economic ladder are still hurting. She was talking about that and the fact that this is the Liberal government that just voted to triple the carbon tax rather than put it on pause and has 2 payroll taxes coming up. So, to Jamil's point about wanting to be seen to do the right thing, but not do the right thing, that's classic Trudeau, posturing. is
well, speaking of classic Trudeau posturing, you know, Jamil, the day where thousands upon thousands of, you know, freedom-loving Canadians who come from Iran were protesting, and what was Justin Trudeau doing? Bungee jumping.
Yeah. Well, look, I think with all due respect here, I think that, you know, minority communities live with the consequences of how we talk about them. And if we're going to act like people who portray conservatives as racists, owe no apology or backtrack for doing that when it's electorally beneficial for them, but then thinking that they can just flip the script and no one like me has to ask them, why did you think you could talk about us this way? Why did you think you could make us feel this way within a party that we're trying to be part of? That is exactly the opposite approach of what Pierre Poilievre did by showing up to that rally north of Toronto. There's a way that you can talk about race and minority communities that is encouraging division and making us feel like we don't belong, and which is what Michelle Rumpel-Garner and Patrick Brown and the like have done. And there's a way that you can reach out to us and show us that you want to listen to us, that we are welcome. And that is what Pierre Poilievre did at that rally. So when he criticizes Justin Trudeau for not taking appropriate action against the Iranian government, he's coming into that conversation with some authority.
Words will not do it. We need actions. Our government in Canada has fallen short, has been weak, and has failed to stand up to the tyrants in Tehran.
Because he's actually listening to people and showing up at their events and wanting to hear what they have to say. I think that is what all Canadians are owed, regardless of their ethnicity. But unfortunately, with the Trudeau government, they've been taking people for granted. And I think they've got their foot off the gas. They think if they call conservatives racists, that somehow all people of color just line up and vote Liberal every election. I don't think that's going to work out. And I think Pierre Poilievre has the understanding of how to show people and communicate with people that he actually wants to listen to them and their priorities. And that's why I was happy to see him at that rally. And hopefully this is a sign of things to come.
As we said, you go woke, you go broke. Log on to Facebook and Twitter. Let us know what you think. And don't forget to go to theTorontoSun.com and hit that subscribe button for more stories like this and coverage you will not find anywhere else.